Hello and welcome back. Today we are continuing our Rice Warlord Japan run, which is going quite nice because it's rice. And, last episode we got some of that yellow rice, aka gold, and that really popped off. And it felt really good in terms of our GDP growth and our, balanced growth. We added a whole bunch of construction, this sort of thing. We also did a lot of fiddling around with the companies and abusing various mechanics with the companies. And so this was all well and good, but can we really, truly say that we are the Rice Warlord while we're living in Mummy's basement? I don't think so. And I know what you're saying. What do you mean living in Mummy's basement? Well, we are in a customs union that is not that of the Rice Warlord. It's Mummy's market. And so I think in order to properly call ourselves the Rice Warlord, we're going to need to leave the market. And so that's what we're going to be doing today. We have to finish some more motor industries. You know what they say, more motos, less problems. And after that, after we Tokyo drift into building some cars here, or actually before we do the Tokyo drift, what we will be doing is building some clothes and then trying to break free from the market. We're also going to build an extra big glut of convoys because I have a sneaking suspicion we are going to be in for some convoy shortages and this sort of stuff. And so we're going to try and generate more convoys. We actually generate around 6K. We're using this amount for our trade, but this sort of thing, if we can, we'll maybe try and get some adjacencies with some countries. That'll be nice for doing overland trade. Like this adjacency with Italy is pretty nice, and obviously it's rice that's going out. That's nice, but we need to be able to support really big trade routes because we have really big rice production. If you take a look at the map and you show production of rice, that's real green over there, much greener than, and you can see the super depressed prices, much greener than the rest of the stuff. Also, this episode, maybe we can try and do something to completely cut off Xing's market. We want them to implode so we can eat up the pieces, gobble it up, so that their pops could gobble up our rice. Hopefully we should have enough to suffice something head lice, but we'll be off on our way. So we have a war that's about to go through in a booming oil industry. It's not the future of the children, it's the future of the oil of the corn. No, the oil of the rice. No, wait, the children of the rice. Okay, but we do have a pretty big war here for conquer Hainan, eastern Hubei, and liberate Mongolia. Mongolia's up here. Hainan's here, Hubei's there, which means the entire left-turn portion of China will be cut off from the market. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Their market capital is there, and that is correct, but they're in Spain's market, so which is a little bit awkward. We would want them in, our market or something, and so, yeah, so that's a bit of a problem, but by cutting them off from the market, we will hopefully get the chance to, get, how should I say, get them to implode, and then once they implode, we should be able to pick off the pieces a whole lot easier than, taking one province at a time from, China proper. Also, these pops are really going to, consume a ton of grain. Currently, local prices, if we think about, what's grain looks like locally here, okay, they're producing slightly cheaper locally. I think, or is this just the Spanish market price, not the local price? I think this is the Spanish market price, not the local price. But we'll see, because if we hit balance, yeah, they are producing a glut, but not as big a glut as we are in the entirety of our, personal market, not Mummy's market. Mummy's market doesn't have a huge glut. We have 4 times, the number of buy orders as we do sell orders, and so we would like to get, we have 4 times the sell orders as buy orders of rice, so we would like to get some more buy orders in our market in terms of these Chinese pops here. So this war is looking a lot closer than I thought it was, and so we've ended up conscripting up a lot. You can conscript by right-clicking and then, click the conscription button wherever it is. Let's find a territory down here and talk about it down here, I suppose. So Mozambique, if we wanted to conscript here, we can conscript 1 battalion, this sort of thing, and they seem to just distribute to our various, units kind of slowly, but this is how it goes. But this war might not be winnable. I'm not exactly sure if we bit off more than I could chew. The systems are really opaque in 1.5. I really can't tell what's going on. But also, we have cleared the engines out of the queue. We've done some, auto-expanding stuff. And now it's time we're going to start sinking in on some textile mills. And so what we're going to do is we're going to disband this company. Big sad. We were so profitable there. And instead, we're going to put in on a find a tire one, which I actually, the bonus here is seemingly, it's okay, not necessarily insane, but this will increase throughput, prosperity, and this is kind of the last good we need in order to kind of really start to get independence. Hopefully we can make something out of this front. We will continue landing, just save one landing to re-land when they land our capital, which I'm pretty sure they're going to do, but because if we use up all of our landing potential, it'll actually be catastrophically bad because you have to demobilize. So we are going to keep this 8th Army demobilized. That way we can also be able to do some stuff, and we're going to see who is on this front. We might demobilize a small army. Well, this army can land if we give them a general with a little 1 stack, so this will be pretty useful for eliminating fronts and just like kind of resetting, as it were, and so we'll hopefully be able to like peel this war out. I'm not exactly sure. I don't think they can enforce us below 0 unless they occupy Shaanxi, but we can't enforce them below 0 until we can push into the capital here, and so this is going to be a bit of a thing, and we'll see what we can do here. So this is what I was kind of talking about here. We got landed, and so we're going to re-land behind this with our 1-stack army just to look to void this. These guys are stationed in the Japan HQ, and these guys are at the South China Sea, and so they should be able to get there quite quickly before they can move too many troops over to this front, which will hopefully... see, there's our 14 stack, so it's got 21 days. So it looks like they're going to get to this front, but then it's just going to get voided really quick. We have some allies moving in, and then as soon as this gets here, because the systems are broken, it'll just auto-land. But we get so much enforcement ticks because they occupy our capital for that 1 second, and like it's pretty frustrating that that's the way it's going to work. I mean, we've mass conscripted up. We do have, oh my god, we don't even have everything on the right PMs. Jesus. So we're going to swap everything that's not on skirmish to skirmish. That should overall help us, I hope. I really don't know where every one of these like guys is coming from, wherever one of these like recruitment guys is from, because the systems are a little... Hopefully... Oh, wait, how do they have... I'm not sure how they can take us below 0. Oh, maybe they have a piece of Shaanxi. Yeah, this is not ideal. Again, really, really hard to tell exactly what's going on with the new systems, but we do seem to be losing this war. Might have to do a little... I gotta think of how we can try and swing this out. Because, like, also our experience so far has been they basically don't conscript at all, which is why we didn't try and sway Russia into this fray, but maybe we needed to sway Russia. Suddenly, the AI seems quite a bit fixed. I don't know. I'll have to think of a solution. Maybe... I don't know. This is rough, because we conscripted full conscripts. I mean, we can... We have similar dead. I don't know how their war costs them nothing, but that's... Why is it costing them nothing? No military goods, no conscript wages. I also don't really... I mean, I guess we're just mainly getting clapped by Italy here, is what's going on. In terms of, like, game mechanics. But this war has singularly felt way different than the other wars, and so I don't feel too bad taking a mulligan here. Maybe they'd like hotfix the game to make people like actually do stuff since we last played. I'm left in a little bit of confusion here. Maybe we try it again with the Russia sway, something like this. I'm not sure. We do, yeah. I don't know. Okay, I think I figured out the problem is somehow. Our biggest army demobilized itself and fired off all the generals. I don't really know how this works or how this happens. I mean, we're gonna put them in here, I guess, but I don't know. I don't understand at all how this happened. We had mobilized and put this guy on this front to begin with, and now like he's just disappeared, which explains really why we're getting clapped, because we basically have no troops involved. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Yeah, of course they went back Shaanxi. And see, now that we have our troops actually here, we can push them, but this might be a little bit too late, too little too late. I don't really know exactly. We will continuously get ticked down now. And so, I don't know, might retry this without, and making sure that our guy didn't get demobilized. I'm left out I'm not sure exactly what happened there. We could also swap sides, but if we swap sides, we'll lose access to all of our GDP growth charts, which are pretty nice. So I think we're going to take a reload and maybe try and sway Russia at the last second or something, because they were swayable, but we are seeing a little bit of teeth now. Like, in the previous ones, we've seen, like, no teeth, but now Italy is actually mixing it up with us. So this is a little bit of a learning point, which is mainly the point of kind of doing runs in 1.5 this early. I mean, the military is, like, all broken with these, like, instant landings and this type of thing, but we'll try again. Okay, so when we invited Russia, we did just get a back down from Qing, which I guess is an okay thing. We won't cut Qing's market up this time, but we just need to take one more state from eastern Hubei and release Mongolia, and we will cut them up pretty significantly, even if they are remaining in the Spanish market. But we will have to content ourselves for kind of free money in terms of the war reps from Great Qing, which are very, very substantive. And also this beautiful state of Hainan. Hey baby, Hainan. We'll delete that barracks from the queue, don't really need that. And then of course we still have to get through on the engines, and so we will be doing that. And then I think that, just generally speaking, we have a lot of states with turmoil now, so I think we're going to up the law enforcement and up this education, which is going to make it so that we do need to kind of somewhat aggressively come after places that have insufficient tax. Now, we're going to try and build in places that don't have the turmoil, so this is going to be mainly building in places. Maybe we should 51 this. Let's just get it up to the point, but we are going to be mainly building in Japanese places right now in order to try and make this work, and then Chinese places later once they don't have as much turmoil, because this is a cause of pretty big negative state construction efficiency. Alright, we haven't finished all the clothing, but we've finished a pretty big chunk of the clothing, maybe a third to half the clothing. Just kind of got all finished in one wave in terms of most of our construction. And so what I think we'll be doing now is we will be... Ooh, what's this? Scandinavia wants us to change to their custom union? I don't think so, bud. But what we're going to do is we are going to say, hey, mummy, we're moving out of the basement. We are going to end the customs union and prepare ourselves for a very stressful few minutes. Now, we have a pretty big chunk of money to work with and balance. We have a ton of bureaucracy, so we can really crank a bunch of trade routes, but it's really all hands on deck. Now, I want to emphasize, we have prepared for this for quite some time, trying to make sure that everything, you know, you can save and the customs union and see where you're running a huge deficit of. And so we've tried to adjust those goods quite a bit. Clothing was kind of like the last big one, but we're still going to be in trouble. It's going to take some time to adjust because construction's a lot slower here in 1.5, and I'm hoping we can do it, but we're going to click the button. We're going to say, see you later, Mom. We're out of the basement, and now you instantly see huge convoy deficit. This ports connections, I believe this figure is bugged and will adjust, but we see, you know, we immediately have a huge problem in various ways. First of all, there's a bunch of things that are expensive. We're not consuming any steamers, so we don't really care about that, but there is a shortage of paper, there's a shortage of steel, and so we might have to import these at least temporarily, you know, in order to make good on some things. So we're going to import them from the American, the British, and the Spanish for a short period of time. And then we see we are also running a shortage of glass. Didn't even see that one before, and we're going to import it from, you know, again, these three. These routes will ramp up relatively quickly. These are not normally things we would want to import, but we just don't want to be on any shortages. Now, here's the second problem. We are running an absolute fat glut of a whole bunch of things. Look at, we are over double. We are plus 40,000 balance on grain. However, we're going to be able to export it very profitably to literally everyone. I think this kills all of our trade routes. No, we still have a whole bunch of our trade routes, so we're going to sort by productivity, and we're going to look to get rid of some of the bigger trade routes that are... So this one's revenue is not too tremendous, but we're gonna like get rid of some of these clothing ones because they were just exporting British clothing before. We're going to get rid of that one. We're gonna get rid of these two. We're gonna get rid of that. We're gonna get rid of that. Don't hate the dyes coming in as much because we do want to make sure We do want to make sure that the dyes aren't necessarily moving in spots we don't want. I'm shocked that this isn't profitable. We're cleaning that out. We'll clean a couple of these out. We will not export the sulfur if it's not profitable. The iron, I'm a little shocked that it's not profitable, but it's fine, fair enough. And then all these inactive ones we'll just get rid of for now. And then we have a bunch of trade routes that are profitable. A lot of them are just exporting grain and this few imports that we had in. We are going to wait till next Monday here to allow a few numbers to auto-adjust. We see that we lost 50 million GDP when we click the button, which is sometimes what happens when you click the button. We see that we are running negative convoys, but a lot of these adjusted. The ports connections are pretty high still, which is not exactly what we were expecting. Or I wasn't expecting that much, convoy requirement in ports connections. Of course, we do have access to more convoys now. We have 11K as a result of, having a whole bunch. So at the front of the queue, we will put in some more convoys to try and make this work. We are running kind of construction malices in a lot of these spots, and they are eating goods in a really inefficient way. So just trying to think here, and maybe we take another... let's take another Monday and see if stuff adjusts. Our trade routes are winding down. Mexico wants an alliance. Let's see if we can maybe get anyone in our customs union. This will boost the amount of available convoys, hopefully overall. We see Italy will join if we owe them an obligation. I don't think we're going to Diplo incorporate them, so we're just going to swap them to ours. We see we can get Zulu in the customs union. I thought we had puppeted you anyways. We would have to owe them an obligation. I don't think this is too bad, and we'll owe them an obligation, so this will be fine. We are going to come in and maybe improve relations with anyone who we would like to have in the customs union. We've kind of been doing this for some time, a little bit off the screen. We have them in already. Why don't we improve with them? Maybe with Oregon? No, Oregon's their own thing. Maybe with Spain and Portugal. I think Spain's too big for us to get them in the customs union, but Portugal's not. Morocco's also not, so maybe we do something like this, so we can maybe down the line look to expand our customs union, which will help to fix some of our issues. We have several import routes, and we're starting to get big routes coming in, like, so for example, Spain over here, you can't see this, is exporting us, and someone is importing man of wars from us, and so we're going to take a look, and now we're going to need to adjust a lot of things here. Let's just first take a quick look at our prices again and see what we're plus 75 on. We're plus 75 on opium. We're plus pretty expensive on glass. The clothes should be coming down with how we have our queue set up. The wood's a little bit expensive. Maybe we import some wood, but that's kind of what we maybe need to import is wood. And then are there any agrarian? So maybe we want to import wood, fabric, meat, wine, maybe less on tobacco because we'd rather people consume liquor. So meat, fabric, wine. Yeah, okay. So import, let's take a look. Meat. We can import meat very profitably from a whole bunch of people. So we will run all the zero convoy routes we can to import meat. And then, because we do have to be quite sensitive to the convoys, and then fabric, and we can run a ton of these. And so the GDP did collapse by 50 million, but once we get a lot of these routes up, it'll hopefully be a little bit better. We want to be careful not to accidentally click the one that requires convoys, because convoys are a little bit of a thing. We probably can't import fruit, because we produce a ton of it. We can import fish. This will make our groceries a little bit better, but it will also increase consumption of fish, I think. Net, it's probably okay. We probably almost certainly can't import grain because we got too much rice, and that's nice. We will import a couple of dyes. Let's see, I think that's all the agrarian stuff. Maybe some coffee. No, not really. Can't do the coffee. Tea? Nope, not really. Tobacco? I don't think I'm not 100% sure. These aren't too productive. I think we're going to stay off the tobacco for now. We can't profitably import this. Sugar, of course, our rice farms produce sugar, rice, and everything nice being fruit, so we can't really do too many of those, and so that's kind of that on the agrarian stuff. And then I think that we will probably want to see, about doing hardwood and wood. We don't really have too much more of this we can exploit in order to get things going. And then, we also wanted to try wine, so this will be good. Man, feels bad when you're importing wood from Tunis. Feels like you've done something horribly wrong. But this is just the soup we're swimming in. We can import tools. I think we're going to want to produce tools in the near future, so maybe not running the import route. And so now we've set up a whole bunch of import routes here. So let's have those be our current import routes. And then exports, we're obviously going to export rice to everyone that we possibly can. We're going to ask, do you have rice, bitch? Got rice. Got food, got soup. Got more rice, and they of course will say no, and so we'll say, okay, we'll hit you with that rice. So we'll hit them with the rice, and then probably hit them with the sugar, because we produce a lot of sugar too. Somehow Scandinavian one's not profitable, but we're fine exporting it at a loss, and then we'll hit them with the fruit. So that is all of our current exports that we know we have a glut of from the rice. But we also have a glut of a couple other things, don't we? Don't we? No, is it really just these things? Wow, I can't believe we could import even when we had that bad a shortage, so we must be just importing from people who have really bad issues. But it looks like we could export porcelain, luxury furniture, groceries, porcelain, luxury furniture, groceries, sulfur, and maybe engines? Maybe overbuilt the engines, so let's take a look. Yeah, it looks like we can, man oh man, can we export engines, so we're gonna do that. And then we're gonna also export porcelain and engines. Specifically, we built tall in some places, like we have the 51 Tokyo Drift over here, and so exports will be more valuable because we are producing we aren't producing enough local buy orders for these, so I think that the way the math works on that, it's a little bit better. We also said porcelain, and I think the luxuries, not too much on the luxury clothes, we got a little bit more on the luxury furniture. I'm guessing the luxury clothes will pick up as we finish a lot of those, but we haven't finished them yet, so we'll just kind of kick this in. And then we do have quite a lot on the porcelain. And so that is kind of on that front. I think we need to build a lot of tools. I think sulfur was the last thing, and yeah, sulfur has really efficient PMs, or it did in 1.3 and 1.4. I guess I got to go back to the drawing board and double check, but these are hugely productive routes, and so hopefully that is pretty good. And these are all routes that do not use any convoys. So we will take another tick, and man, we see an immediate adjustment, huge increase in ports connections. Was that from just Zulu joining our customs union? Also, I guess Italy also joined our customs union, right? And Italy is pretty big, so they will maybe be stuck in, but we see the GDP is going to climb back up, and convoys are still a bit of a problem. Have we gotten a Monday yet? So that's much recovered. This is starting to come back up. Education is up, which isn't exactly what we're focused on right now, but, you know, it is still a thing. It is important. I think we're going to try and build more ports as well. We're going to look for places that have the lowest negative earnings. And why is the earnings 0 on these? Are they on anchorages? So we're going to make sure that we are on everything on cargo ports. And we're going to make sure everything's on all this, and this, and this. And then see which has the lowest negative earnings. Shikoku, Ryukyu Islands. We don't really have too much labor in these places. Japanese Kenya, we're going to add some. We're just going to add some to these places. I guess we'll avoid some isolation in a couple spots. Something like this. And we will look to get these ports in for the convoys. We are really spending a lot on port connections. I don't think that this is kind of the... Well, this is actually very timely, isn't it? So now we can actually increase them all in Japan mainland and really, really kind of crank those up. So we will do that as well. Oop, I didn't want to put that many there. Or in Ryukyu Islands. Oh well, this is fine. They are kind of close to... Probably too many on Hokkaido, but this is fine. I think we're also overcorrecting here a little bit, but, you know, if we can just export more rice, this is nice, and we'll try not to send them head lice and etc. We see the trade route volume is winding down as the rest of our convoys are kind of dedicated to ports connections, and a big part, like this is ruining our eco in various other places because they don't have full market access. So, for example, you don't have market access down here, this is going to create problems, and they're like a source of like gold mines and this type of stuff, so we don't want to be losing market access here, and so we're going to try and kind of correct all this, but really, perhaps we should have, you know, made a little bit of a push for getting ironclad gantry cranes, this type of thing, and maybe we kind of make that push now, this sort of thing. We can actually, we only need gantry cranes, I forgot. The reason we only need gantry cranes now is because they've split the PMs on the things, so we can have all of our domestic ships use industrial ports and this type of thing, and have, oh no wait, steam trawlers is still on ironclad. God, that's obnoxious. So I guess we can't, I guess we do need both in order to swap over. That is kind of annoying. I guess it's fair enough, though, I suppose. This should give us quite a bit more convoys. Our supply network is a bit problematic right now. Let us see if we can change anyone to the customs union. No, I think everyone recognizes that we are, like, we have basically, oh wait, we can't change because, or part of why we can't change is because we have 0 of this. So let's also see about rivaling anyone. I said let's see about rivaling anyone. We also, maybe this Ontario is a bit expensive. Can we take on anyone's debt? Sambis and Oman. It's probably not worth it. Where's our rival buttons? Yep, there we go. Netherlands, probably. And now we get access to more options. We could get Liberia and Dahomey in. These are not necessarily the ones we want in. We kind of want stuff like Persia, Brazil, Ottomans, Peru, Bolivia. These would be some nice things. We see a trade agreement with Scandinavia. That's going to be nice. It's going to refund us some stuff and allow us to run better routes. So maybe we also just try and see who we can get trade agreements with. We could get trade agreements with Germany. Great Britain's probably going to be pretty nice. And this will allow us to skip their convoys and do more trade volume with them. I'm not sure we want Russia. Oh, I guess they don't like to all be happy with us at once, which is fair enough, but this is going to allow us to skip their convoys and allow us to do more volume, except our volume is going to mainly be gated here by our convoys amount, which you can see the trade routes have wound down to basically 0, and so now we're spending basically all of these on convoys. But we're kind of getting out of this here, and you know, we are losing a bunch of money. This is the thing. Our GDP has recovered a little bit, but it's nowhere near like the 210 million it was before, which is a huge source of income for us for minting. So not having access to this is a bit uncomfortable. But you know, these ports are going to come in pretty soon here. You know, we got them all over the place. They are coming in just a few more weeks, and then we will be out of the woods in terms of just the convoys. And, you know, what is this? Sotho secession. Okay, fair enough. You got us. After we do this, we probably will want to try and start turning up to steel frame in most places. If we see this, this would be extremely expensive right now, but we really need to, you know, find a way to get a lot of steel. And so what we're going to do is we're going to actually move the steel, any steel we see in the queue, to the back of the queue, with the idea that we will soon be swapping over to, or we'll plan to put a bunch of steel in at the back. We do have unis. I'm not sure we can afford that jazz. But in order to kind of make room for this. We also saw that glass was quite expensive. I believe the company here is not steel and glass. Steel and glass would be fantastic for us. Yeah, it's furniture and glass, so we'll have to do steel first. And then in terms of specialization, and then the glass. We got the Sotho secession. We probably should have been looking through this stuff. We maybe could have taken a province off of Chile, which would have been, you know, kind of preferable here. Here's the Sotho secession. We will move kind of some troops over, and we should be in relatively okay shape, but I'm guessing they are seceding because they have lost market access, and so their goods are expensive, and so they have a drop in SOL and a rise in, of course, the throughput of cars outside, which is, you know, you don't like to see it, but sometimes you see it. But now we're starting to run positive convoys, and our port connections numbers are decreasing. It seemed, what the fuck is this? Why are you siding with them? I don't understand. I don't even think they have access there, except for I think they get access because I think it's bugged. They don't normally have military access. We could transfer a subject change, but I think instead we'll just mobilize everyone, and I don't understand why they did this, unless it's to... Did they get them as a subject somehow? So I'm pretty sure when we put this down, you know, I believe we get to annex our secession, but this is an annoying kind of feature. But for this specifically, I do think it works that way. We will move some of these. Actually, we'll move the biggest unit over here to here. And this is an interesting one that I don't think we're going to use yet, but it is going to be, well, actually, let's use it here, because we do have, I think, a glut of, or we don't even have, we're not even out of labor here, but I think we could, like, more profitably use these in the rice farms than like, we normally could. Wow, we cannot. But this will save a lot of labor. I guess we don't really need it at this point. We didn't actively research that, and Guinea's gonna have some problems, because if I recall correctly, that's like, oh no, wait, we got connection here. Where's Guinea, though? Okay, you just don't have a port, and you have one being produced. Yeah, I'm not crying for you. So, I don't think... Can the UK get here? I don't really know. We'll see if they assign there. That's a little unfortunate, though, but, you know, we're starting to see the money recover. The GDP is, like, not too high, but now we can come in and take a look at our market prices again, and take a look at our, you know, yeah, so we see steel and glass are really expensive, and so clothing is a little bit expensive too, and we are gonna try to export. Yeah, now this is probably starting to get to a much better export spot, and we see that it is. And we, of course, do want to export as much as possible of these things. We will continue to try and ramp up our stuff. Maybe we do go glass and... No, I think we go steel next. We clear out some of the stuff from the queue that is... I think we clear out most of this... I think we just clear our queue more than anything. I mean, we do want to get more steel. But I think we're kind of in the clear to some extent. Obviously, you know, we're not in as good shape as we were before, but this is not necessarily a super big problem. Oh, somehow they can assign people to these fronts. This is super cool. This is functionally a bug. God damn it, dude. Or they haven't normally been able to do this. We might swap sides here. Why can they assign there? It's so stupid. Like, we have the front, they don't have the front. Or do they have the front through Cape Colony? No, because Cape Colony is not involved in this, because we can't land Cape Colony. God, the AI is so obnoxious sometimes. We don't want to lose this, because this is a huge, like, we have so much eco here. I think we're gonna switch sides and capitulate here. You know, I'm not about fighting this like this. I mean, like, we have like 30-something gold mine, or we have nearly 30 gold mines here. We have so much stuff. We have a ton of our coal is produced here. You know, and we lose access to all of our graphs though, which is not exactly what we wanted. But oh wait, we can't capitulate, because our suzerain is still participating. Suzerain being the UK. Hopefully this doesn't clear out our queue. I know when you get full annexed, oh, but we're not getting annexed, so we're just going to capitulate here. Nope, not to that one, actually. You can keep fighting that. We're going to capitulate here, and I think maybe since the game didn't, like, end, we maybe get to keep our graphs. I think our graphs are killed. I think our graphs are dead. Yeah, no historical data. which is unfortunate. Let's see if our auto queue has been destroyed as well, which is kind of one of the downsides of, yeah, our auto queues also get destroyed. Big sad. We have a lot of things auto queuing based on like location, but I did not want to. That's obnoxious. I don't know. Kind of consequences of playing in an open beta, I guess, to some degree. So we are, nothing's on auto expand anymore. That's kind of not the worst, not the best. I think the things we want to switch on to auto expand are going to be the kind of bringing in these auto expansion on these sorts of cash crops that we have in Africa, particularly because we want to make sure they get the economies of scale. But other than that, I think that, you know, maybe we be a little bit more company oriented with our expansion, and so we'll probably try and handle it like that. Look at this. This is a fat route here. We can export a level 13 groceries to the German market. Let's go, baby. You know, we don't have any, we have like trade agreements with almost all the GPs, because man oh man do they want that really cheap rice. We asked if they have it. They said they don't have the rice, and so we're sending them the rice. You know, we're just kind of chilling mainly. We got this uprising going on, but the GDP is very quickly recovering. Now obviously we can't see it because we swapped sides from the graph, but it was at 210, dropped down to 150, now it's at 182. Expecting it to like really crank up quite a bit here. You know, we are starting to finish some of these out. I think what we're going to do is we're going to finish all these textile mills, and then we're going to kick a bunch of ironworks to the front of the queue. We get human rights, which is going to be nice. This actually, we probably... Ooh. Actually, once we finish the clothing, we will want to, I think, start paying a lot more for tech, and so I think we go universities up top after we finish this, or maybe a little bit before. It's not... I don't think we're capping them here up to 51. I think we already have a 51, but we're adding 14 just to get a little bit more tech spread here. The Bantu Uprising is kind of a nothing burger because we just have to land them, and of course the naval landings are still bugged. And so we'll just get in for free, but it'll just take a hot minute for that to work through. But until then, we have been oscillating back and forth. The port connections hasn't been coming down, so I guess this is the amount that we are going to need. But everything is adjusted, and the trade routes should be... the trade routes are, you know, working as they should be now. If you look at our highest volume trade routes, they're all just grain outgoing. And if you look at the most productive ones, of course, we do have sulfur, the sulfur one being insane, but also very nice are the import of steel. So steel is really what we need, especially in local areas, and especially, you know, considering what's about to be going on, which is us swapping on a steel frame building, which is going to use boom booms, steel, and finally, it's going to use also, glass, a lot of glass, and so we're going to need to kind of shape our economy in that direction, but I think we're in a pretty good spot right now, you know, considering we just left Mummy's Market. You know, that was not as painful as I really thought it was going to be, aside from them joining a play against us, which I thought was a little bit silly that they could not normally get access to, but of course right now, it's like, you do not need military access, and so, but to be fair, like, military access should have been a thing, but just was not. Ooh, we wish we could invite that guy, but chicken and the egg problem. We don't accept him, so we can't invite him, and because we can't invite him, we cannot accept him. I do think we would want to go multiculturalism, but we can go right now compulsory primary school, and everyone likes it except for the Industrialists. I think we'll go it. That will be nice for kicking us up to getting at least some bonus, or maybe we're not going to get a bonus out of these guys. We're not getting bonuses too much out of anyone, which is unfortunate. We do land that, so that's good. We're trying to keep an eye on things, but right now things are going pretty well. Hopefully we finish through these close soon. So we just finished the skyscraper, and I think I've been underutilizing the skyscraper in general, in a general sense, but what we have it on right now is Trade Route Nexus, which is going to increase the trade route volume, which hopefully is going to let us crank out, you know, a whole lot more grain, we can see our grain is very, very, very cheap. If we take a look, we have what are our buy orders. We have 4K buy orders here. We do have a decent amount of pop consumption, but hopefully these trade routes upgrade and get to a much higher level so that we're exporting more than 3.56K. We'll take a couple ticks off and see how things look, but the trade route volume is a positive modifier. We see it moves up a little bit. I'm not sure if we're going to get too much more out of it, but it is going to affect all of our trade routes, not just these. Yeah, you actually see them winding up quite a bit, which is going to be quite positive. It is going to... We're capped right now on our convoys, which is really not ideal. Yeah, it's moving up and up and up, and the capping on our convoys is making it so we can't get more levels of trade routes, and so if we get more per level, that's a positive thing. Can we do any productive trade routes? We're going to do this one because it is convoyless, and we're going to check fruit, and we're going to check sugar, because of course we are the rice warlord, and then we are starting to get close to doing the textile mills and finishing up textile mills, and maybe we should build steel. But right now we're importing steel. It's really not too terrible. We can upgrade. Civilizing mission is unlocked. Big nice. We will increase to that right now. But maybe this is okay. Maybe we need to return to our roots a little bit, kind of as a little bit of a send-off. So we're going to kick this button up, which is going to, of course, make us spend a lot more money. Now, we actually just should build steel. We shouldn't build rice right now, should we? There's no way that's correct. We probably still just have so much, well, let's just look at the production, the world's production of rice here. This is the world's potential production, and this is the world's actual production. We are producing an enormous amount of grain. It is really cheap for us. It's probably, even though it's a 2-for-1 sale on these buildings, it's still probably more worth it for us to, build the thing that has plus 54 price, rather than the thing that, as tempting as it is, has minus 42 price. So I think we're about to, we're 2 weeks away from finishing our final textile mill that we currently have queued, but then once we hit this, now we will see. Now, we have steel frame on both Kanto and Tohoku. So almost certainly these are going to be the best places to build. So what we're going to do is we're going to disband this. Sorry for the minus radicals, standard living decreases. And then we will establish a company. A company for what? A company for steel, because that seems like it's probably the best thing for us to build right now, especially because the heuristics for steel are pretty simple. You kind of want it in a place where you have iron and coal, and that's pretty much, and also obviously where you're consuming a bunch of steel. So we're going to just check the earnings, and look at that. That is enormous earnings, because locally it's plus 75 here because we're on steel frame buildings in both of these places. And so I think what we're going to do is actually, given that that's the state of affairs, maybe we want to even 51 it. Now, that's probably a little bit excessive. These places don't have both iron and steel, but why don't we, just bring up 10? This is still, even with a level 14, this is still insanely high. We're going to add some to Chubu. Oop. We didn't want that moving around. But we're going to add like 5 levels in a couple of spots where we apparently have some consumption. Now, none of these places have both dual track, but Shaanxi does have dual track, and we'll see, do we have negative construction efficiency in Shaanxi? We do, but it's not too bad, and Shaanxi has both iron and steel, and so what we're going to do is we're going to also bring Shaanxi up to 20, and then we're going to look to, after we get that up to like 20-ish with Shaanxi, we will be looking to probably swap them up to steel frame on their buildings. Why don't we actually just add up to a little bit higher here, and this is going to kind of prep the way for tools as well. We have built fairly tall in these two places, and they do have a lot of construction centers. They do have at least a lot of iron, which is probably part of why these are profitable. Little surprised not to see, oh, I do see Transvaal in here. I was about to say, little surprised not to see Transvaal in here. We'll maybe throw them a bone or two, but I believe that they have a construction malice. Oh, they don't have a construction malice. Okay, so we'll throw Transvaal a few bones here. 6 bones to be exact. To be fair, they are going to have a reduced throughput on their building as a result of, but they have positive this. They're going to have reduced throughput here as a result of, unincorporated. And we're on colonial exploitation, so minus 20% throughput, which is a pretty big minus. Generally, we don't want to do a ton of manufacturing there, but it is profitable, or profitable enough. Actually, maybe let's just do 3 levels there, something like this. It'll feed like the loops, because we are going to be extracting a lot of coal and iron, so even though it doesn't have a lot of throughput, it will be really profitable. And so now we will kick things up and we will see how things are in just a minute. So we see a little thing that we can kind of stick our finger in, and that is this Mexico versus USA. Mexico will offer us something, and I think we could just go for an obligation to maybe pull them into our customs union, but I think I really like just peeling off some American war reps, and helping out here. We do have quite a bit of infamy right now, so I think that this will be relatively okay. And also, by being in a war on the same side as Mexico, hopefully, just look at all this. Everyone really dogpiles on one person in the current state of affairs. They kind of decide which side. I was hoping we might be able to pull them into the customs union. It looks like we can't, but I was hoping the being on the same side bonus or whatever would be useful enough. And now, of course, they're uncertain because they really don't know. We're about to show them the power of the Rice Warlord, free of Mummy's basement. We are actually starting to get some pretty significant radicalism, and this is something I've not really had my finger on the pulse of too well. I think some of it's partially due to radicalism changes. We only have approval from like people in government, which was one of the changes, and this is actually something I need to examine a little bit more and think about a little bit more. But I think what we're going to do is we're actually just going to decrease taxes to try and combat radicalism, which is going to cost us a little bit more money. Why don't we take it up? We're going to take it down 2 notches and not increase this, but this will also put us in a new legitimacy bracket, which hopefully this helps to deal with it. It'll also improve, Oppo approval, which is going to help us get more research speed, stuff like this. It's going to be very, 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 very expensive. But the flip side is this will also, it's not like this money doesn't do anything. This money re-injects into the economy and is going to increase spending, which will make our businesses more profitable and this sort of stuff. Notably, we have a lot of like kind of lower rung pops, although these are not necessarily the pops that are going to be avoiding getting taxed, but it is partially income tax, and so we do see a pretty big hitch in the GDP when we lower taxes, which is going to not increase minting because it was already over 200 million, which seems to be where the cap is reached anyways, but it is going to be nice in terms of driving consumption and this sort of stuff. Steel is starting to finish. I don't think, our steel import routes are starting to become not profitable, going from being wildly profitable to starting to become not profitable, which is fine with us. Also, as the steel gets cheaper, these engines should get a little bit better, but we're just pruning a few of these. Still having a lot of exports on grain, obviously, kind of expecting those routes to kick up, kind of anticipating, adding a whole lot more grain, but when we add a whole bunch of steel, we will be able to start upping things. I think we see that these are in Chubu and Tohoku. We're going to come in here into Chubu, and we are going to come to the construction sector, and this is why it's profitable here. Got it. Did we do the construction sector here? Nope, we did not, so we'll swap this one up, which all of this is going to be super, super expensive, but, I think we can take it. My kind of indicator of, like, what we can build into is just horribly off now in 1.5, just because there's not enough experience and reference experience here. Looks like we're not doing too well on this front for helping Mexico out, but I forget what we wanted. We wanted American war reps, so we do need to actually enforce to get what we wanted. Wait, don't we? Okay, American war reps, there it is, the Japanese. American war reps, and so I think that, we'll try this again, but I think that we're probably going to end up not enforcing, which is not the worst, not the best either, obviously. Well, actually, we have a positive thing. Oh, you know what? Did we do... It's so stupid. You have to designate something a strategic objective. So, by designating... I mean, we should be able to push through this Mexico front. Maybe that's just bugged, and it's not allowing us to push the front we want to be pushing, ideally. Yeah, look at that GDP just crank up kind of after we decrease the taxes. Not that I think we're in an environment where we maybe want to be decreasing taxes super aggressively, but I actually don't know, and I need to think about this a little bit, because they have changed the way radicalism works, and if we take a look, yeah, we're starting to get a lot of approval bonuses here, just coming off of just a few weeks, and we're starting to see kind of this loyalist kicking down, the loyalist kicking up, the radicalism kicking down in a way that's pretty responsive to the tax, decrease. Now, we're also taxing a whole bunch of like luxuries and this sort of stuff. If we decrease the tax on, like, let's say liquor, which is a very efficient tax, it will increase the consumption of liquor. Is this preferable? It drives up the price of liquor. I think this is preferable, and it's going to make us less money, but what we can do is we can come in here, put this up, and then I think that what we can do is we can think about, maybe we do want road maintenance in the capital here. We generally are building most in the capital. This sort of thing. Or maybe this is just not tenable. And we also have, like, minimum gov wages, which is depressing our prestige, which is getting us access to less boats, and maybe we just need to approach this a little bit differently. I mean, we could also let the queue clear a little bit. We haven't cleared the queue in quite a long time, and we do have quite a big investment pool, and so maybe we let the queue clear, especially because stuff's not auto-expanding anymore. We let the queue clear, it's just 2 pages, and we see what the auto queue can build that's going to be profitable, and then we look to bank or drain the investment pool down some without needing to add construction in order to do it, and use this money to kind of pay for the fact that we are reducing taxes, and these reduced taxes might help us get some bonuses, going that are going to be good. Like, we would love to not have this tech spread negative modifier. I mean, we could also set up this sort of government. I think this makes these guys happier, or will help to make these guys happier, because it seems like loyalists are attracted to the people in government, right? Which is not something that I'm necessarily super used to. Elected bureaucrats would be preferable, so let's actually swap elected bureaucrats, which will maybe make the Intelligentsia happy. And then who else does it make happy? No one really. We could swap something like this. This will help out a little bit for making the Intelligentsia happy, but really what we would like is for this guy to... Ooh! I was going to say for this guy to abdicate, which is fine. We will abdicate. We will get more loyalist. Comes dies, or all pops become more loyalist. I think we'll do that. And now, we can have this block together in Gov. And now we will attract loyalists for these groups, right? And very importantly, the hereditary bureaucrats law pass will be nice. And so now we are getting some tech research speed, and so this is good. Notably, this one's doubled because these guys are powerful. And Kome being powerful hopefully will be good. He is protectionist. Or sorry, not Kome, Meiji. He's innovative. Oh, that's such a good modifier too. Increased tech spread. It's not the best anymore, but it is pretty good. But I think that we are going to, conclude the episode here. It's been a bit of a fun one. I tried, it's obviously a bit of a longer one, but I was trying to make sure that a lot of people have asked, hey, how do I escape someone's market? How do I get out of someone's market? And so I didn't want to have too much cuts during that period in time to kind of demonstrate how we handled it. Obviously, we handled the Transvaal Orania thing by cheating, but they cheated to get to those fronts, so I don't feel too terrible. And also 1.5 just kind of has some issues, and we're just trying to move forward with a reasonable looking run. And also we're learning here because I'm not fully familiar with all of these changes. Like, I probably have to think through this government change quite a bit more, but I hope you enjoyed. If you did, feel free to like, comment, and rice outside. And other than that, have a good day.